Hello, family. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Welcome. Today, I want to talk about something that's very, very important to me. So, check in and let us know where you're hailing from. I tried to do this podcast a little earlier today, but I don't know what happened. The sound went out, the vision was very blurry, and the camera was very blurry. So, that's okay. We're going to talk about legacy today. So, good afternoon, check in family. We're going to talk about something a little different because my channel is about family, wealth, and legacy. So, even though we cover geopolitical news, the reason why I cover geopolitical news is to raise your vibration so that you can create the most amazing life that you desire and deserve for you and for your posterity, meaning your future generations. So, let's talk about legacy as you check in, family. What is a legacy? Legacy is the amount of money, wealth, or property that you leave behind. But legacy is not only about wealth and money, property, and estate. Wealth is also about a long lasting impact that you leave behind. What is the long lasting impact that you desire to leave behind for your children, your future generations being your posterity, and for society at large? So oftentimes when people go about their lives, they let life live them instead of living life and living life on purpose. My encouragement is to live life on purpose, because if you ever decide to transition and leave this planet and go into higher realms and you leave children behind, or even just leaving a name behind, what would people say about you? That's what it means to live a life on purpose. You're living a life full of value because you desire to leave a legacy behind, a long lasting impact behind. So let's do a little, let's see, vision. Follow me. We're going to do what they call, I'm going to show, I want you to envision something with me. I can't think of the proper name for it, but imagine you woke up in the morning. It's a beautiful morning. It's sun shining. Sun is shining. There aren't many clouds outside. You awaken, you get out of the bed, and you're just feeling amazing. So after you shower, brush your teeth, you do your hair. Whether you're a woman, you put curls in your hair, or you decide you're going to straighten it for the day. If you're a gentleman, you do a nice little lineup of your beard or your mustache and your hair. Get you a nice lineup. Or if you're bald, you say, I'm going to shave it real clean today. This is a special day. So you get up, you do take your shower rituals, you do your hair, you brush your teeth. Then you go and you make your coffee or your tea, or you drink water, whatever's the first thing you do in the morning after you've taken your bath. And then you put on your finest outfit. So if you're a lady, you might decide you're going to wear a dress today. Your favorite color. Think of your favorite color. You put that favorite blue dress. I love blue. You put on a blue dress. I don't know. It makes you feel calm and serene. Or maybe you want to wear a red dress today because you feel sensual and you wear your red. So imagine you wear your most amazing dress. Or if you're a gentleman, you might decide, I'm going to wear slacks today and a tie with a button-down shirt. But you go through your closet, you look at your suits, and you pick the one that fits you for that day. So you just go with me, and you put the outfit on. You put on your Cartier watch, okay? Ladies, you get your finest pocketbook or purse, and you're just excited about today. It's just, one of those days that is going to be the highlight of your entire day or life. You put your purse on, gentlemen, you get your wallet. Everybody's got the nicest outfit on. You spray on a little smell good, what my grandma used to call it, perfume or your cologne, and you're just feeling yourself. Ladies, you might even decide to wear flower like Dr. Kia did today, because you're like, you know what? I feel extra feminine today. So, think about it. If this is the most amazing day, just think about it. So you got your finest outfit on, you smell good. Ladies, you have your flower on, put your jewelry. Think of the best jewelry that you have. You're going to wear it today. Gentlemen, you got the finest watch. You've paid a lot of money for this watch. You don't usually wear it, but you're going to wear it today. Then you put on your nice socks to match your tie, gentlemen, and your very pointed shoes today. Back in the day, you would wear your Stacey Adams. You tell me the nicest shoes you got on today. So you got all the finest clothes, you dolled up, you got your hair done, you have the smell good on, you're feeling really amazing. And you walk outside and you say, wow, this is almost like the heavens just parted, like the skies just open up once you open the door. And so you open the door and you look outside and say, wow, everybody, everything is like bowing down to me today. You walk up to the car, you take your keys out, doot, doot, you hear it open, your car open. You're just like, you couldn't ask for a better day. So you get in the car, you close the door, roll down the windows or push the little automatic thing and the windows go down. You can feel the wind brush past your face, and it's a soft, soft breeze. It's not hot outside today. It's just very pleasant, like about 75. It's only going to get 80 degrees this day. And the sun is coming in, but the wind, the nice air, the breeze coming past you just makes you feel so calm and warm and at peace. And as you're driving down the street, it's like everybody is acknowledging you. Gentlemen, you're driving down the street and the women are like, hey, and they're smiling at you. Ladies, you're driving down the street and you get some winks and some kisses, and you're like, wow, this is a great day. So you're driving and you're driving, it's peaceful. There's not a lot of traffic outside. And you're thankful because you weren't in the mood for traffic today. And as you pull up to the building, because you knew it's a big, big event that's happening today. That's why you look your best. And you say, wow, I'm pulling up to the building. You get out the car, doot, doot. You lock the doors and you look around and you say, wow, there's a lot of cars out here today. That's pretty amazing. Now, I recognize that one. Oh, I know who that is over there. And you recognize some of the cars, some of you don't. But the parking lot is completely full. So you're like, oh my God, I picked the right event to go to today. So you walk up the steps, feeling all swagalicious. And ladies, you're sashaying up the steps, feeling your most amazing central self. And you walk up to the front of the door, you're going to make a grand appearance today. You took time to look good today. You took time to smell good today. So you open up the door and you walk in and you look around. The room is full of people, people you know, people you don't know, people from the community, your children, grandchildren, if you have grandchildren, neighbors. You're like, this is such a wonderful event. And as you walk closer and closer to the front, you decide you're going to sit in the front today. Now, normally you don't do that. And you walk to the front and you're smiling. Someone steps up to the podium and you have a growing awareness that you are at your funeral. The person that steps up to the podium is a very recognizable face. What are they saying about you? What is the long-lasting impact that you have left on that person's life? First, it was your wife or your girlfriend. Then it was some former girlfriends. If you're a woman, it was former lovers, former husband, or it is your current husband. You're like, one by one, people are standing at the podium talking about you. You're looking at your own funeral and you cannot believe it. You can see them, but they cannot see you. What are they saying about you? What will they say at Dr. Kia Pruitt's funeral? This is what your legacy is. The long-lasting impression and impact that you've left on a person's life, on your friend's life, your colleague's life, your coworkers, your husband, your wife, your lover, your neighbors, your community members, and society at large, even people on social media. What is the legacy and the long-lasting impact that you've had on their lives? This is what they will say about you when you close your eyes and ascend to other dimensions, or when you exit out of here is another way of saying that. Whatever it is that you desire for people to say about you, that's the way you should live your life. That's the way you should conduct your business. And every single activity, every single thought, every single contemplation, every single motivation that you have should be in alignment with that legacy. What will they say of Dr. Kia Pruitt? That she lived a life full of love, joy, and integrity. Integrity, having a high moral compass, high moral standards. She was an elegant woman who lived a life full of love, joy, and integrity. A very honest woman who left an impact on society. This is not only my legacy, but is my mission statement. So whatever you want people to say about you, whether it's your children, people in your community, even so-called enemies, that's the way you should be living your life, conducting your business. The decisions that you make should be based upon the legacy that you want to live or leave for your children. For people to say, for me, she had integrity, moral upright. She had strong moral principles, and that encouraged me to live the same. Family, I can't tell you how many funerals that I've been to, some good where they said good things about people, but some funerals where they said, oh, that was my mama, but she was mean as a snake. Is that the legacy you want to leave behind? And I feel for the children. Or, that was a great man when it came to this, that, and the other, but he made my mom live in perpetual sorrow because he couldn't keep his penis in his pants. He went from woman to woman to woman, spreading his seed. Is that the legacy you want to live for your children? Is that what you want people to say you left behind? Or would you like for them to say wonderful, positive things? That's your legacy. That's my legacy. It's your mission. It should drive every thought, every activity, every single decision. Your mission should drive it. It should be the motivating force behind every single thing you do. If people ask you to be a part of a business venture, think about your legacy. If people ask you to turn up, think about your legacy. If people ask you to go against your moral principles, think about the impact you want to leave behind on your children, your posterity, your future generations, and live from that place. So if you have created a legacy and a mission statement for yourself, a statement by which you will live and conduct all of your business, personal and professional, then continue to do that and polish it and live by it. Every single decision should be motivated by your mission statement, by the legacy that you will live and lead and leave behind. If you haven't done it, do it now. What is your legacy? So I think about the legacy of my grandparents. My grandmother left a legacy of love, and we all talk about it. Everybody in the community talks about it. I talk about it. My siblings talk about it. My parents talk about it. My mom talk about it. All her children talk about her legacy. She left a legacy of love. Neighbors, people at the church, everybody that knows Mother Dear Pruitt talks about her being a loving mother. She cooked with love. She held us with love. She chastised with love. She grew her garden in love. She read in love. She prayed in love. Everything about her was about love, and that's the legacy she left behind. Grandfather, the long-lasting impact that he had on us is that he was great at providing a covering. He was a provider and a protector. He had multiple businesses. He protected grandmother. He had so much that he provided us with that grandmother was able to thrive in her feminine essence to the utmost. They have a legacy that made us proud. What is your legacy? What's the long-lasting impact that you have left on society? That is important. You're here for a purpose. I'm here for a purpose. Let's leave behind a strong, powerful, positive legacy and impact on people. So some people say, I don't have wealth. You said legacy is consistent of two things. It's the property or wealth or money that we'll leave behind, but it's also the values, the long lasting impact you will leave behind. But let's go with the money, the wealth, the property that you will leave behind for your family, your posterity, your future generations. Whatever it is you decide you want to leave behind because you want to be in alignment with the scriptures, then you need to start planning today, or at least if you have something, protect it today. Because the scripture says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. The latter part of that is the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. A lot of people focus on the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous, and that's true. And we know that will happen. But you don't want to leave behind the first part of that scripture. A wise person leaves behind an inheritance for his children's children. So you want to live life on purpose, making sure everything you do is about leaving something behind, whether it's a value, a long-lasting impact in your morals and principles, or wealth for your posterity. So you might say, okay, I don't have a lot of wealth, and some of you do have a lot of wealth. I have a home. Protect it. Because when you look up legacy, the Webster's Dictionary will say money, property, or wealth that you leave behind in a will, but a will can be contested. Okay. A will only writes down or talks about what it is you desire to leave behind, but it does not, it's not enforceable. It doesn't mean that it will be left behind, because all wills have to go through probate like in court. And when the will goes through probate, an attorney has to be assigned, and then any attorney fees comes out of your estate. So I want you to think about that, what you're going to leave behind. Wills, okay, I don't even know the benefit of them except for expressing your wishes on paper, but they have to go through court, and you know how courts are, at least as it stands right now. So any fees that's assessed from that attorney will come out of your estate. And if somebody contests it, because all wills can be contested, the fees from the contesting will come out of the estate. And wills can take a long time because people can continue to contest. For example, you're married. Your partner doesn't want to give your spouse anything from your estate once you pass on. So you may have said, I want this to go to my adult children, but your partner may say, no, they don't deserve any of that. So your partner can contest it and say, I disagree. So it can be drawn out. Okay. So Dr. Kia Pruitt would say that a legacy is wealth, property, or money that you leave in a trust, not a will, a trust, because trusts are guaranteed. Trusts actually own your assets. You control the trust, or the grantor controls the trust. But your trust own the property. Remember the old saying, own nothing, control everything. So you might say, well, what kind of things would I put in a trust? Anything, any wealth. You don't have to have a lot of money to leave it behind for your posterity or your children's children. You could have jewelry, and it could be something that to somebody else, it might not have value, but it has sentimental value. You want to protect it. That's your legacy. It could be jewelry, clothes, items like my flower. It could be pictures, all those type of things, houses, homes, a computer, anything should be put in a trust, and they should be in separate trusts so that nobody can try to bring some type of lawsuit against them. But so a legacy is money, property, wealth that you leave in a trust or in several trusts for your children or your posterity or for anybody. So you need to know what that legacy is that you want to leave behind. And then you need to start thinking and planning ahead now. So that means you need to look at estate planning, look at estate planning professionals, look at trust advisors. Maybe you want to leave behind a family business. Then it's time to get moving if you haven't already and start that family business. Hire you some people, read some books, get on the internet, Scour through videos, whatever you have to do so you can leave an inheritance for your children and your children's children. So think about what your legacy is now and protect it. Protect it so that when your children are standing in that special event building that you attended talking about you, they can say, my mother, my father, my family member, my close friend, my relative left me something. And I know that she loves me. So that's wealth. That's property. Whatever it is, these are the things we should be thinking of, because a lot of people think about what the deep state has wanted us to think about, what the celebrities are doing, who are they sleeping with, what kind of money we think they're making, because most of them are broke and they have been abused. Okay. We need to start thinking about things that are more important than what satisfies the flesh. The scripture says a carnal mind is enmity with God. It's an enemy of God. Constantly thinking about the flesh, constantly think about satisfying my body. Those are basic needs. Sex, love, what makes me feel good, all the basic needs. We need to, yes, fulfill them, but constantly thinking about what makes me feel good, what makes me tinkle, what makes my ears itch, what kind of gossip I like hearing. What's the newest person I'm going to sleep with? What's the next party I'm going to attend? What's the next drink I'm going to have? Carnality. We live in a carnal body in this meat suit in the avatar, yes. So some things we have to do, but constantly thinking about those things when we have children to take care of and grandchildren and great grandchildren that will further on our legacy, that's more important. When you have a purpose, when you have a mission and a vision, and maybe that's the issue why society has not been thriving in many cases, because we've forgotten the importance of a mission statement, a vision statement, a mission statement, a statement that you write that will guide your life. Thinking about or including the purpose that you have. That's the legacy that you'll leave behind. A vision statement, you're looking into the future. What do you want it to be said about you? Do you have a vision? Do you know what you're going to do in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 100 years, if you live that long? And if you don't, what about your posterity? Because while some people are planning for the weekend or for tomorrow, other people are thinking about their posterity, future generations. What's going to happen in 100 years with my bloodline, 1,000 years of my bloodline? Do you know that if you work for some Japanese companies at the highest level in management, you have to be certain people. You have to read books about their vision, their 1,000-year vision, and you have to actually, even in your personal life, align with their 1,000-year vision. What is your vision, family? What is your mission? What is your legacy? What is the long-lasting value or long-lasting impact that you will leave behind? Literally every single thought, every single motivation, every single activity should align with that, the legacy that you will leave behind. And I'm putting legacy and your mission and purpose as the same thing. So we have to be very, very serious about how we live life. So many people are not serious. And that's why they're exiting the planet. They haven't been serious. And so there really is a such thing as survival of the fittest. If you have proven yourself to be consistently carnal and weak with no purpose, and you're living life just frivolously, the planet will expel you from her because she's constantly evolving. But for those of us who have a vision, who have a mission, who have purpose, and not only for ourselves and for our posterity, but for our community and for society at large, we will stay here. We will continue to thrive. And we'll leave behind a long-lasting impact on society and on our children and our posterity. So what is your vision? What is the legacy that you will leave behind? Like, really think about that. Write it down. Dr. Kia Pruitt was an elegant woman who lived a life of love, joy, and integrity. And here's an example. When we were growing up as children, she didn't have a bunch of men running in and out of the house. Integrity. She taught with her mouth, but she lived a life with a high moral compass in front of us. That's integrity. Example, Dr. Kia Pruitt was an elegant lady that lived a life full of love, joy, and integrity. She loved humanity so much that she dedicated thousands of hours of her life teaching the truth for humanity. She loved people so much that she gave. You see what I'm saying? Dr. Kia Pruitt was an elegant lady who led a life of love, joy, and integrity. Joy is a state of mind. It's more than just being happy based on a situation. It's a state of mind, knowing that all things are going to work together for the good of humanity. Joy. When you saw her, she was smiling. She emanated joy from her being. She truly knew that mankind was good. She truly knew that humanity was a good creation of the Most High. She truly knew the Most High would take care of her and everybody on the planet. She spoke it, she lived it, she breathed it, she ate it. She made sure everything she did had a essence of joy about it. And those people that will stand at my funeral, if I decide to close my eyes and transition, will give examples of it. Joy, 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 joy. Even when her husband died, she was sad, but she had joy because she knew it would work out for the good of the family. Somehow, joy because she knew she would continue to live and foster the legacy he left behind. And she did it with joy. State of mind. State of mind. It's all about what's here. Integrity. My mother said it to me, and while I'm living, I know if she outlives me, she'll say it in my funeral. This, she said, as I think about it, you never brought men home. Only when you were about to get married. I've never seen any boyfriends. Integrity, high moral compass. Yes, there were men that wanted to date Dr. Kia Pruitt. They didn't live in my house. They didn't walk through my house. They didn't sleep in my bed. My kids didn't see them. Integrity, high moral compass. So one other thing that I always tell my children is, even if you do things that other people don't understand, live a life of discretion. Discretion. Because you got to think about your legacy. Legacy. You know how good it feels for your mother to say you didn't have men running in and out of your house, or women? I never seen different men in and out of your life. I met 2 men. Those were the men that you married. One of them passed on. God rest his soul. Your mother says that. That feels good. Your children to say, I've not seen that. And here's another thing for those of us that are elders: live your life full of integrity, because it's not about what you say out of your mouth. We keep saying, I taught them better than that. But the way you really teach is the life that you live. The impact that you live or leave on society is based on how you live and what you do, not so much what you say. That's true teaching. Doing as I do, watching my lifestyle. Train up a child in a way that he should go. The training shouldn't just be about what's coming out of your mouth, because sometimes what comes out of our mouths is inconsistent with the way that we live. What the children will remember, what society remembers, what people on social media remembers, what people in the community remembers, and the people with whom you work remembers, is how you conducted your life. Integrity. So whatever legacy you decide to live or lead or leave behind, whichever legacy it is, it should be in alignment with their value system. Think about it now. Okay, because we're going to leave, some of us are going to leave behind, we're going to leave behind somebody, whether it's children, grandchildren, people with whom we worked, people in the community, people on social media, people in society at large. We're going to leave behind somebody. And remember, the law of oneness is one of the principles that guide the universe. So there are many universal laws. Some say 12, some say 24. And one of the universal principles is the law of oneness that says we're all one. We all came from source, and we all have source within us, and we will all leave with source. So if we're all one and we all have source within us, that means everything I do will impact you. So I've heard people say, you shouldn't care about what people think. Girl, you're grown. People have said that all through my life. And I reject that ideology. Grown to me doesn't mean anything except for I'm a certain age. I do care about what you think. I do care about what my children think. I do care about what my grandchildren think. I do care about what friends think. I honestly care about people that much, because the things I say and do will impact and affect other people, even when I leave this planet. So what is your legacy? Write it down and live it. And start working. If you haven't yet, start working now, backwards. So you see, or you know what the funeral is going to look like, or maybe you don't. Some of you will transition. Some of you are like, I want girl with the med beds and the new technology. When we walk through the chambers, the crystalline chambers, I'm getting a crystalline body and I'll never leave the planet. And that's awesome. But even as you ascend, there'll be some people left behind. What will they say about you? What's your legacy? What's the long-lasting impact that you will leave behind? Again, family business, then start creating that family business now. You say, that's what I'm going to leave behind, and protect it in a trust. If it's money, and maybe you might say, oh man, I know now that I want to leave this amount of money, but I don't have it. Then get to work and get another job, or get a job, or create a business. So you have to know what it is that you desire to leave behind, and make sure every single thought and activity, action, and motivation is in alignment with that legacy. Every single thing. Even when people offer me, I'm not a drinker. I've tasted wine. I think it's, I think it's an acquired taste. Every now and then you want to have a buzz, but I think about it. Literally, is this the legacy I want to leave behind? Could this lead to something else? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with drinking. I'm just saying for Dr. Kia Pruitt, I'm like, for me, I have to be careful, because I had people that are addicted to drugs in my family, and many people die from addictions. So you have to know who you are and who your bloodline is. So I'm predisposed to addictive behaviors. So I have to be careful with anything. So if somebody say you want to drink, I have to literally, would you like a glass of wine, Dr. Pruitt? I literally have to think, is this in alignment with my legacy? Dr. Kia Pruitt was an elegant lady who lived a life full of love, joy, and integrity. And I'm not saying, if I decide that it's, yes, that's in alignment, then okay. If somebody say, Dr. Kia Pruitt cannot take you out, I literally think about, is this the legacy that I want to leave behind? Who is this person? What is their bloodline like? What is their mindset like? How do they live their life? What type of mistakes did they make in their life? Literally, I'm thinking about, do I want what they do, who they are, the energy that they bring to be part of my legacy? Because who you align yourself with, who you hang out with, is a mirror of who you are. And this is why I say, when people say, I can't find any good people, or things like that, or sometimes they'll say there aren't any good people, no good people to marry, to date, then I will always say we have to bring it back to you. What type of energy are you emanating to attract certain energies? And even if you attract energies that are not in alignment with you, you don't have to entertain it. So every thought, every single activity, even when I'm creating activities for my family, is this in alignment with my vision, my mission, my legacy that I want to leave behind? And any adult activities that you should do, If you think it's something that shouldn't be, exposed to your children, you still have to be careful, but have some not only integrity, but we need to have some what's the word I brought up earlier? Where I said you have to be mindful of how you do things. Discretion. When you think about integrity, that's one of the words in my mission statement. Dr. Kia Pruitt was an elegant lady that lived a life, or that lives a life, however, full of love, joy, and integrity. I have to think about what each word means and make sure everything I do is in alignment with that. When I think about integrity, the way I live my life in the daytime is the way I live my life at night. So I don't believe in this pseudo new thing, sneaky links. I don't believe in being sneaky. I don't believe in lying. It's not a part of who I am. So I'm an attractive woman. If a man approaches me and say, hey, I have a wife, but I want you to be the mistress and I'll make sure you're taken care of and blah, blah, blah. I have to think about that. What is the legacy I want to leave behind? It gets that serious sometimes. Do you want to be a secret? You want to hurt another person? You want to bring pain to somebody? Because what the scripture say? Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. So this is my legacy. Dr. Kia Pruitt is an elegant lady who lives a life full of love, joy, and integrity. And I'm so, so keen on that. And I've always been that way in the back of my mind, that I accept and allow judgment. So my mother-in-law used to tell me, my mother-in-law helped raise me. My mother-in-law, all the women in the church, I have had male pastors, female pastors. They were happening to all, most of them were all family, but they would judge me. My mother-in-law said to me, if you judge yourself, nobody else would have to judge you. Look in the mirror at yourself. Look at how you're dressed from head to toe. Look at how you live your life. Then nobody else will have to judge you. Is what my mother-in-law said. Judge yourself. So I think about that. And when people judge me, I get it together. It hurts my feelings. It might hurt my soul. Change it, because I want to have the type of legacy, again, that I was full of love, joy, and integrity. That means I can accept criticism and judge my life according to my own legacy and my own mission statement. So I asked you today, what is your legacy? And I encourage you to write it down. What is my legacy? Many of you already know what it is. And then live by that today and plan accordingly. Make sure every single activity, this is Dr. Kia Pruitt speaking, is in alignment with that. Because there are a lot of people sitting in a nursing home right now because of the legacy that their children left behind. Some of them are in a nursing home because children are too busy. I get that. And unfortunately, in this society, we have to work so hard. And some of us, have so many things to do that it's hard. I understand that. I overstand it. But the honest truth is that some people are sitting alone today because of the decisions that they made and the legacy they are leaving behind, the impact. And we will tell them over and over, oh, you should be taking care of your mother and your father. But let me tell you, if you lived 45 years of hell, disrespect, being mean, rude, nasty, or any of those negative things, and you may turn over a new leaf, that's beautiful. You just don't want it to be too late to where all the bad things, you know what I'm saying, have overshadowed the good. So we can all repent. We can all turn away if we don't have a good legacy. You just don't want it to be too late. And there is a such thing as being too late. People say it's never too late. Oh yeah, there's a such thing as being too late, but at least you can try. And at least you can repent and turn away and apologize. So what is your legacy? Write it down and live from that place today and moving forward. Start planning. Go to an estate planner if you want to leave property, money, wealth, anything behind, and start putting things in trust. And we'll bring people on. I've brought a person on to talk about trust and estate planning to you. I'll bring somebody else on later on in the week to talk about that. But you can do your own research in your community. That's amazing to know we have this opportunity. Some of you are going to be very, very wealthy with the foreign currencies that you have. You don't want people to just spend that frivolously while you're living or when you transition or if you transition. So put it in a trust or in various trusts. Some of you will create businesses and humanitarian projects. Be very, very mindful about those because it's a part of your legacy. It's the long-lasting impact that you're going to leave behind. Isn't that awesome that the Creator has given us this opportunity to be good stewards of a great, massive amount of wealth? Some of you are not only involved in foreign currencies, and you will do foreign currency exchanges when those currencies continue to revalue and get a great exchange, a rate of exchange on those currencies. But some of you were a part of the humanitarian and global settlements and prosperity plans that came out in the 70s and 80s. Those of you who are involved already know about it. People can't get in now, but to my knowledge, but it's already been decided. And you know that you have to be a good steward of that money. That would be your legacy. Long-lasting impact on society, what you're going to do to help humanity. That is such a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to do. To whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. You have to live a life of integrity, since you are going to be the ones that will create these humanitarian projects. And then some of you have a home that you're going to leave, or you have some assets, any assets that you have. It's important to protect. So protect it, figure out how you can protect it. This is something that we need to live and also teach our children. And again, I was talking about adulthood, speaking of children. Parents, elders, you have to consistently do your job. It doesn't matter how old they get, you will always be the elder. Okay. I taught my children, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. So I don't accept excuses. Now I have compassion. I understand certain things. My mother didn't accept excuses. You're going to do what I say because I'm a very wise woman. I have a legacy. I live a certain lifestyle in front of you, and you're going to live accordingly. But I'm a wise woman. And if you want access to what I'm leaving for you, you will live within the parameters of what I say and what I've laid out for this family. Now, I said parameters because when they're adults, they will make some decisions. They will figure out how to take the wisdom that you give them and apply it to their lives. But just abject disrespect, being disorderly, rude, going against the overarching principles of this bloodline, I do not accept. I will not. And I've heard people say, oh, when your children are grown, they could do whatever they want. You tell them what to do. You're blah. No, not only are you going to do what I say, but I have a brother who is the patriarch of the family because my father transitioned. For the children, my children, you're going to do what I say. And then my brother's going to enforce it because we're all on the same level. We are a very wise family. We have certain things in place for this family. You're going to walk the straight and narrow. Straight and narrow is the way. Broad is the way that lead to destruction, but straight and narrow is the way that lead to righteousness. And you're going to figure out a way to walk through this narrow path. And there is no ifs, ands, or buts. However, if you decide you want to do what the world says and be grown and do whatever you want to do, then you're going to face the consequences. See how that works? We elders have to get back to being elders, being the ones that live by a high moral code and laying it out and making sure everybody else does it. And you know what? If you can't listen to my brother, oh, you will, because not only is he the man of this family, he's the patriarch, he's wise, he's older. Was also in law enforcement, a private investigator, lives a good lifestyle, high moral value. And even if he didn't, you're going to do what he say. And then I have brothers-in-laws. And then I have a matriarch above me who is my mother. And if anybody gets out of line, guess what? You're going to have to answer to the brother, the brother-in-laws, and my mother. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to fall in line. There's no other way because I have a legacy to uphold. What happened to the time when you would say, we have a name to uphold? You're not going to shame my name. You're not going to shame the Pruitt name. You're not going to shame the Lattimore name. Doesn't matter what the world does. We have to hold up a standard and follow the standard because this is our legacy. It's very important. Society is loose. Society is frivolous. Society will lead you straight to hell if you follow the principles and the so-called rules and codes of the deep state, the people in power, people outside of the ark of safety. So I ask you these things because I don't hear them often spoken about, but it's very, very important. And again, let me get back to perfection because I don't say things like nobody's perfect. We can't be perfect. The devil is a lie. Be ye therefore perfect, even as I am perfect. Be ye therefore holy, as I am holy. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Perfection, and that scripture means complete. It means whole. You have to learn how to exegete scriptures and eisegete. Exegete to read the scripture within context, but eisegete to actually know not only in context, but what it means, the etymology, what it meant by when it was written, all of that. Perfection, the higher the standard, the higher people will try to meet the standard. The higher the standard, the higher the achievement. Perfection. Perfection. So let's think about our legacy. Let's write it down. Let's polish it and live by it. Then there should be no fear of whether or not if you die. There should be no fear. There should be no fear about living life, period, because you're living life on purpose. What legacy do you have? I know you have one. And the thing about legacy is whether you write it down or know you have one or not, you have one. You may think you don't. I may think I don't. But it's the impact I leave behind. The way I make people feel. I met a gentleman today who just happened to be driving by me and he saw the children and I walking. It was hot. And he said, "Excuse me, madam, I don't mean to interrupt you. Please, I'm make sure I'm not disrespectful. I just wanted, to know, do you need a ride? Are you okay?" I said, "Oh, yes, I'm okay. Yes, thank you so much." And he said, "Oh, I just want to make sure I'm being respectful. I see you're hot, and by the way, you're very beautiful, and he said something. I said, "Thank you so much. The energy you exude." And then later on, when he connected with me, he said, "I just want you to know, like, your essence is still with me. I just saw you driving by. Your essence, the long-lasting impact that you had on me, I can't stop thinking about it." We had maybe 30-second exchange at the most. Essence, the energy you're exuding, it is a long-lasting impact, whether we do it consciously or subconsciously. And people will mirror who we are. So if people are kind to us, often that's because that's what we're projecting. See? If they're unkind, then maybe we're projecting unkindness. You're going to have some unkind people. I know that. But think about who you are and how you're impacting people. That's your legacy. Isn't that awesome? That you can actually impact everything around you, everybody. You ever see the trees sway a certain way when you walk past them? You're leaving an impact. How the animals respond to you. Do they try to attack you or are they walking up to you? When children see you, are they smiling or are they frowning? Your long-lasting impact, the energy you exude, you're leaving a legacy. So let's think about that because we're all one and it's very important what type of energy we exude, what type of legacy we leave behind, because we are leaving an imprint on the entire planet. So let's be mindful of how we live. Let's be very intentional about how we live, about how we speak, about how we think. All of that's important. Everybody can feel the energy that's around us. Islam, peace to the gods. So, family, I love you all so much. As you think about your legacy, I would love for you to write down what it is and what you need to do to achieve it or to improve upon it. So, as I was living, hi, oh, this is JFK Jr. Hello, Mr. President. I love you so much. He says, much love and respect to you, Dr. Kia, from me and Rockin' Robin. You are so appreciated. I love you so much. I love you, Rockin' Robin. That's his companion. I love your family. I love what your dad did for the country. And your dad, as you all know, this is John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. His dad said there is a plot to enslave every man, woman, and child. But before I leave this high noble office, I will expose them. And because he did that, you know the rest of the story, what happened. But what they weren't banking upon is that he left a legacy. The name. Everybody knows the Kennedy name. Everybody knows what John F. Kennedy Sr. stood for, that he was going to expose the deep state. And he did. He was going to expose how they intended to enslave the planet. He left a legacy that was the long-lasting impact he left on every person who heard the Kennedy name. To this day, the man passed away decades ago, and we still know his legacy. The legacy of the Kennedy name. They tried to destroy it. They tried to take every single penny away from JFK Jr., also known as David Keith Quigley, whom I've brought on my channel, but they couldn't destroy it. The legacy was embedded in his genetic code. The legacy is embedded in society. The legacy is embedded in our minds to the extent that when you bring up the Kennedy name to this day, those who remember him will tell you that their parents cried when he passed away. That's a legacy. What's your legacy? They tried to take it away from John F. K. Jr. They abused him. They mistreated him. They put him through MK Ultra, but his legacy was so deeply embedded and imprinted in his genetic code, in his mind, in his spirit, in his soul, that they tried to kill the man, but they could not kill the legacy. Glory. What's your legacy? Here he stands today telling his story, and they can't stand it. But the devil cannot destroy your legacy. The only person that can destroy your legacy is you. But you first got to have one. He wrote a book called Stolen Identity. It's on its way to the best-selling list, to #1. Our Soul Family has helped boost it from 25 to 12, and it's probably up to 10 now. Because we remember the Kennedy legacy. They tried to destroy his whole bloodline. But he still stands, and he will perpetuate his father's legacy. Family, what is your legacy? What is the long-lasting impact that you will leave behind? Even though they took his money, they took his wealth, they even created a body double named John to replace him. But you know what? When a legacy is embedded, you can't destroy it. You see what I'm saying? What is your legacy, family? What do you want to imprint in society? Even if JFK Jr. decided not to tell his story, we still know the Kennedy legacy, right? We still know that his father said that there was a plot to enslave every man, woman, and child. And we know that he said, before I leave this high noble office, I will expose it. We know that. So I ask you, what's your legacy? Live by it and make sure every single thing that you do is in alignment with it. Thank you, JFK Jr., John F. Kennedy Jr., for all your love, all your support. and for sharing your love and the legacy of your dad and your mom. So, family, of course, I don't want to keep you long. I'm just so happy that you all have come to join us today. I see Gold Star Susan Mothers also in the chat. Hello, Mother Price, one of my closest friends. Thomas Williams, a wonderful supporter of the channel. Thank you, my darling. He says I'm exquisite, exquisitely gorgeous. God has graced me with beauty and wisdom, and to whom much is given, much is required. So when you are blessed with certain things, certain traits, certain attributes, you want to show, I desire to show my gratitude to the Most High for giving me these things by being responsible with what God has given me. Amen. As I hope you all do as well. So that's it, family. I was going to do another podcast about how we know the deep state is crashing, but I'll save that for tomorrow morning. And I'm not going to give too much. I just want to let you know little glimpses of what I see going on behind the scenes that's happening, to let you know that things around us are crumbling, which is fantastic for we as a human family, because now we can create the society that we desire and deserve. But it's important to be the change that we hope to see.